Hi, welcome back. Yes, who would have thought carpet cleaning could be so much fun? And things ugly out, so they do. That's why we went to the break. But it's interesting, I was asking you, is there a better carpet for certain situations? And you're saying it just depends on what you're actually going to use it for and the location. I know in some of these really luxurious fibres, they're not as hard wearing, but they're beautiful in the right situation. But and you're saying all these different fibres, we're talking about cleaning them, and you've obviously got the spot cleaning chart now up on the website for people to go on. What's the website address again?
So it's facc.com.au, and you'll be able to find it there.
Beautiful. But chemicals ain't chemicals.
Oh, God, no.
No. So my bottle of soda water or my Epsom salts is
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. He wants me to invite him around to his place to clean his carpets now.
I've had a go.
Yes, I can assure.
Yes. But chemicals ain't chemicals.
No.
There must be so many different types for so many different products.
Yeah, and that's the problem that we have. I mean, for the general carpet cleaner, you go into a supplier and they'll have this range of chemicals sitting there, and like you have this that's meant to be nice and mild, and this one that's super strong, and this one, this, the other. And really, unless you know the chemistry yourself, if you've had some sort of training on it, you don't know how to differentiate between the two. Yeah, and a lot of times what I have found with other guys that I have trained in the past, that they've used brand X rocket fuel, because they put it on and they know it works. It works fantastically, absolutely. They leave that job looking spectacular.
Yes.
But what long-term damage have they done? Okay, and that's the question that needs to be asked. A lot of times the damage that they do is not going to be obvious today.
Right, okay.
It's because of the fact that, especially in the case of a wool carpet, now wool retains moisture within it. It's got about a 12 to 40% moisture regain, which means it's 12 to 14% of moisture within the fibre naturally. And they're supposed to be. It retains moisture. That's just how the fibre is.
Okay.
Okay. Now the problem with that is, wool carpets are by nature, they're an amino acid or a protein, so they like to be slightly acidic. Most of the cleaning products we use are alkaline. Now, if you leave behind any of this alkaline chemistry in that carpet, what happens is that it stays in the carpet because there's still moisture there, it stays active, and that alkalinity is going chomp, 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 chomp against the acidity that the carpet likes to be in, or that fibre likes to be in. So it's degrading that fibre. Okay.
Wow.
Now it's also potentially, in the case of of an nylon carpet as well, which it only has a 4% moisture regain, which is not that great, but the dyes in them, they don't like going over pH 10. Now most of the products you find these days are normally going to be pH 10 or under, but there are quite a few of them which are more aggressive for a given situation. They're going to be pH 10 and above, right all the way to pH 14. And if you understand anything about the pH scale, I could go into a little bit of detail on that, but if you understand it, pH 14 is frighteningly furious, fast and furious, and it does have a potential for damage.
Right.
Major potential with acid dyes, because they use acid dyes to dye those nylon fibres and the wool fibres. Once again, that alkalinity is going to go, oh, acid dye, kill! And you lose colour. Okay, and with the wool carpet, as I said, it's not necessarily something that happens today. So you do the first clean and it's bumped the pH up just that little bit. You do the second clean and it bumps it up that little bit more. You do the third clean and it's like, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Do the fourth clean or even the fifth or sixth clean, and all of a sudden, colour loss.
Wow.
Okay, I had one trainee that was using one of these rocket fuels, and he said, but it works fantastically. I said, yes, now give me that piece, that chemical you're using, and I had a piece of wool carpet. I said, right, I'm just going to put some in this wool carpet and we're just going to leave it. Revisited that piece of carpet. It's just a little patch that I had.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, for all intents and purposes, it looked fine. And I got a wet tissue, went dab, oh, lots of colour on the tissue. Oh, lots of colour not on the carpet.
Really?
It was that quick.
It had loosened it off that fast.
Within 2 weeks. Now I've still got that same piece of carpet. This is going down about 3 years later. I had some trainees with me just a couple of days ago, and I pulled that same piece out. That same piece now is completely discoloured. It's gone this sickly yellow-brown. It was meant to be like a peach colour, and there's a big indent where the carpet fibre has just fallen out.
Oh, it's just eaten the fibre as
It's
well.
literally eaten the fibre away, and so it's completely wrecked that piece of carpet. 3 years down the track, I mean, but actually by the time it was 1 year down the track, it was already starting to show that. So that carpet with that chemistry was dead.
And we know when you're starting to talk wool carpets and you're starting to get up into those types, I mean, they're not cheap.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
reason you're buying them is because I plan to put this down, it's going to be beautiful for years.
That's right. But I mean, even if you've bought a property and that carpet is already in there,
Yes.
you decide you're going to get some carpet cleaner in, and he just goes, oh yeah, it's that little bit dirty, and I'm going to use this stuff on it, and it looks fantastic. And then 12 months down the track, it's like, this
And
carpet
you're
really
singing
needs
the
replacing.
praises of the carpet cleaner until 12 months
Well, yeah, because
later.
it looks fantastic at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, it's a real balancing act. You have to understand the fibre that you're dealing with, as well as the chemistry that you can put onto it before you can clean safely. And not everybody has that prior knowledge.
So if that has happened to someone, is there any way to reverse it?
No.
I didn't think there would be.
Once it's damaged, it's damaged. On a nylon fibre, yes, we can reinstate colour.
Right, okay.
Okay, but on a wool fibre, if it's not just colour loss and we're starting to head into that damage zone, once it's damaged, it's damaged. Okay, I mean, say for instance, if a lot of ladies would understand going to a hairdresser.
Oh yes.
Okay, because look, your hair is like wool. It's a type of hair. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
If you put the wrong chemical onto that, or you do it repeatedly, what happens to your hair? It starts to fall out.
Yeah.
It breaks, it gets fragile, and it falls
Yeah.
out. You can regrow your hair. You can't regrow your carpet.
No, unfortunately, it stopped growing.
Yeah.
So when someone comes around, and as a bit of a safeguard, we're not experts, but chemicals aren't chemicals. Is this when you should be asking your carpet cleaner, saying, okay, what type of carpet do you think I've got on here? And what are you actually going to use on it? What strength of cleaner are you going to? What are some of the questions we could ask to just safeguard?
That's a really difficult one. I mean, the only way you can absolutely guarantee that the person has had any sort of or has any sort of idea is that they have been through a training program of some description.
Yes.
Okay, that's the sort of basics that gets covered in every training program. Some are better than others, but unless you have that there, you can't prove that you have the knowledge. Now, I know there are guys out in the industry who have got the knowledge and they haven't done a training program at all, but they've either A, come from an industry where they've already understood those chemical processes, or B, they've been able to research it themselves independently because they don't believe in forking out the money for someone else. And look, that's entirely up to them, but how do they prove it?
Yes.
Okay, and the only way you can prove it is by going through a training program and have the certification that goes with it.
So in West Australia, we've got, is it the Carpet Cleaning Association?
Correct.
And of course, you guys there do lots of training.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. I mean, the only way you can actually get into the association itself is by having done a carpet and upholstery cleaning module, as well as an advanced stain removal and the occupational health and safety. Okay,
Beautiful.
You have to have those courses ticked off before you can actually gain full membership.
So that actual membership itself starts to give people a little bit of comfort.
Absolutely.
That person's not only done training, but if they're involved in your association, we know that because you promote training, it's likely that they're continuing to learn, have access to.
They continue to learn. We have 4 training workshops per year, of which they are obliged to attend 2 to retain their membership.
Wow.
Okay, so they have to have that ongoing knowledge being given to them and taken in for them to be able to retain membership. Otherwise, once again, as I said, with that example of the 20-year-old veteran who's still doing the same thing you did 20 years ago, but the market's changed.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Well, markets do change, but we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with a bit of a change. I actually just want to touch on the training because I think that's important for people to understand what is actually going on out there in an industry that changes probably, monthly, 6 monthly, yearly. There's so many new stuff going on and training is so important. We'll take a break and we'll come back and I'll ask you a little bit about that so people actually understand what's going on and how to recognise it.
Absolutely.
We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.